How we doing, everyone? Welcome to another edition of FSI's NASCAR DFS Pick Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined by Mega Roller 31. Mega, we are out of Daytona and into Darlington. How excited are you for this week? And any recap of last week?
It was Daytona. That's all I can say. It was Daytona. And what do you expect? You're sitting. You're like, you know what? It's a good race. They're not going to crash. We got this. We built a good lineup. We got the place differential. We picked the right guys. The guys that broke down, we didn't have in our lineup, and then there's the crash.
The big one definitely happened late on the Cup Series.
BJ McLeod finished in the top 10.
Yeah.
Enough said right there. When BJ McLeod finished in the top 10 in a NASCAR race, you know it's time.
Yeah, you know you're at a super speedway. All right, yeah. I mean, Daytona was what it was. And now we're on to Darlington. Mile and a half, I believe. Yes, mile and a half. Mile and a quarter, I would say. 147 laps, these sports clips, haircuts, VFW Help a Hero 200. Definitely a top 5 motorsports race name of the year award nominee, as we are going to drop those top 5 in probably the last show and give you the top, 5 through 1. That's kind of like my goal to do for race names this year. And this is certainly up there with the tongue twisters of the year. But we have a lot of things to get to, a lot of Cup drivers in this race, some starting positions that are going to be chalky with some of the more known drivers in this series. This is the Xfinity series, if I have failed to mention that at the top. So let's just do what we do, get into this pick by pick, strategy wise. Anything to go off of before we get into the pole sitter?
Well, I think the issue is going to be that you have Denny Hamlin at 10-4. You have Austin Cendrick at 11-3. You have Brandon Jones, who for us is a GPP, but I know a lot of people will like his starting position at 25th, and a Gibbs car at 10-5. We have Tyler Reddick at 10-2, starting at 28th, and then we have Austin Dillon in 35th, starting at 10-8. So I know that a lot of players are going to try to jam at least 3 of these guys in to their lineup. Yeah. So let's just give us a starting point here. So if I'm taking Cendrick, Dillon, and Hamlin, then that only leaves me 5,800 left per driver. So most of the guys we talk about aren't going to fit in most players' cash range, but we're going to still go over them because I think it might be smart to just take 2 of the 3 guys, and then that's how you're going to be able to differentiate your lineup. So I want to see if I can possibly, so if we don't take Cendrick, who's like way high up there, and Jones and Reddick, I just want to see if it's even physically possible to make a lineup, which it is not. So good job, DK. So they have blocked you from taking 4 10K guys.
Yeah. So real quick before we get into it, this is the start of the Xfinity playoffs, I presume, right?
No, they have 3 more weeks before they start the playoffs.
Okay, that's what I want to check. Yeah, okay. So we have 3 weeks till the round of 12. It is the start of the NASCAR playoffs. So Xfinity has 3 weeks. The standings sit. You have guys on the bubble like Brandon Brown, Ryan Sieg. Those guys are 16 and 15. You have Michael Annett, 13. Myatt Snyder in 12th. It looks pretty locked up from about 11 to 1. So really, we only got a couple guys.
PK, I think they only take 12 here. So
yeah, that's where I'm counting that. Yeah,
okay, because you said
I'm just thinking of guys that could possibly sneak into the 12th spot because 11 looks pretty good on points.
Here's the problem: you have 3 more races, so Annett, Sieg, Brown, Tommy Joe Martins, Josh Williams, Landon Castle, Alex Lebaye, Brett Moffitt, Buford, even Earnhardt, Vargas, Weatherman, Howard, Starr. If any of those guys win a race, they're automatically in. I know it sounds stupid, but that's how it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's almost locked in, but pretty much, that's what we're working with here. I think tomorrow's slate is going to be all about who is going to be the early dominator of this race. And I think that's going to separate us in GPPs from, the chalk builds with just the place differential. This is 147 laps. There's going to be fast laps. There's going to be laps led. So I'm going to need to nail that, early GPP dominator to get to, the top of the leaderboards in GPPs, and then just hope that whatever my construction consists of, I have the right points total wise with the rest of my lineup for place differential. What are your thoughts on that strategy?
Yeah, I think, we've talked about in dominating races before, especially when you usually have Kyle Busch in the field or another Cup driver, figure out who the guy is that's going to lead early. And then when the guy that you definitely know is going to, like the Cup guy that's going to take over and probably lead the rest of it, then, you've captured a lot of the points. So exactly. I think there's a lot of candidates up here early on, but, we'll talk it out and see what we can do, narrow it down, looking back at the May race.
Absolutely. So let's get into it. Now we have Daniel Hamrick in the 18 starting on the pole. 9,200, not a bad price tag. Daniel Hamrick has kind of done pretty well starting up front this year. What are your thoughts on Hamrick tomorrow?
Again, it's all how he starts the race. I mean, AJ Allmendinger next to him is aggressive, but he's not one that I could see necessarily is going to jump out in front of him. I think out of the two of them, Hamrick will probably get it. I don't know what the conditions are going to be like on this track. Is it going to be easy for like them to pass early on and get up there, or is the person in clean air going to have such a distinct advantage that there's no way they're going to pull them in? I didn't see, if they're going to throw a competition caution or not. So depending on like how things go, like
I don't think so.
And there's really not. I don't think Darlington's a tough track, but I don't foresee them having like a ton of like cautions early on. You don't know.
No.
I mean, it's NASCAR; anything can happen. But I like.
Yeah, I think.
But I think he's a GPP play.
Yeah, I think the main thing here is Darlington is a race that has, first, the Xfinity race at Darlington is a race that has a lot of bad equipment with some not so good drivers in a racetrack that has a wall that is, known for having its mark on NASCAR. And that I think is turn 4, when you're coming out of turn 3. A lot of guys hit that wall and they get that what's known as the Darlington stripe. So, I mean, there could be cautions in this race, and that's, something to definitely monitor, I think.
That used to cost them to cut their back tire down. So
exactly. Yeah. So we're going to have some cautions in this race with just the way 40 cars drive on this 1.25 miles coming out of turn 4. So, we'll see about Daniel Hamrick. I like him, but he's not really the guy I'm circling up here. Next up, we have Adrian Allmendinger at 9,200. I like Allmendinger. He's got some good short track and road course pedigree. He's kind of done it on all tracks, and he's got a lot of good head of steam. I'm going to take a flyer or two in GPPs, but I don't know. I'm not really. I think it's more because of the price tag that I might take a shot, but I won't be overexposed at all.
Yeah, he's a good race car driver. I just don't see him in the same like tier as like Hamlin, even Cendrick. Even if you took the Cup guys out here, like yes, he's been successful in this series, and yes, he's won a couple of races, but it just doesn't seem like his style here.
Yeah. Next up, we have Justin Haley. For Colleague, 8,400 is really cheap. But Haley is not a guy that's that great at dominating races, so starting a little too high for me.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree on that. I think he can maybe end up in the top 5, but definitely top 10. But I like the pricing, but he's not the one up here that I'm really looking at that I really like.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Starting in 4th, we have Justin Allgaier. I think he's going to be semi-popular because of just having some win equity, some good on tire wear track, experience on Darlington. I think 9,700 is a little priced out for me in cash lineups, but I can understand the play in GPPs.
Well, he won the race here in May, so does that change your mind?
Oh, I didn't realize they raced here already in May.
Yeah, this is their second time here.
Wow. Coming out of Talladega. Do we remember this race? Having trouble remembering. Anyway, there you have it. I think Justin Allgaier would be a good play based on that.
Yeah, and I think he's my favorite play up here. So they raced here May 8th. See if
just looking. I was
looking
up the
Allgaier, Berry was 2nd, Jones was 3rd, Gregson 4th, Hamrick 5th. So that's a GPP lineup right there. Jones and Hendrick and Hamrick, or Jones and Gregson and Hamrick. Those are like the unusual suspects that you're.
I think I lost you.
I'm here. DK.
You're frozen.
I could hear you.
Really? Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, you were frozen. Okay. I can't really remember what.
Well, I was saying just the guys that finished in the top 5 are people that we usually pick in our GPP lineups. It was Jones and Gregson and Hamrick.
Okay.
Looks like Cendrick finished like 30. He was in an accident. Colby Howard was in an accident. That's not a surprise. Matt Mills, Josh Williams, Gary Galden, Joe Graff Jr. So, there were quite a few accidents here.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing on Allgaier is in the last 5 races, he does have the win, 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s. So
I think he's my favorite one up here.
Yeah, he looks pretty safe up here. I think I should retract what I said on Allgaier earlier about being too priced up for cash. Maybe he is a secret unlock piece here, but I think place differential guys are going to be hounding for what we'll talk about later in the video. Right now we have Jeb Burton starting 5th. 8,300 is pretty cheap. Any love for Jeb?
He's a decent driver, but I don't necessarily love him. I think he's okay for a GPP, but not someone that I'm making a priority at all. The price is nice.
Jeb Burton finished. Let's see how he finished.
If you're scrolling that far, I'm not too excited.
20th in May, so I'm not sure if we're going to go with Jeb. 8,300 cheap, but not cheap enough. Next up, we have Harrison Burton, 9,400. The number 20 car for Joe Gibbs. 9,400 is a little too much.
Yeah.
But now we're starting to get into some place differential with some fast laps. Let's go through this real quick. Harrison Burton finished 11th in the May race. I'm not seeing much on whether or not he's got in the last 3 races, he has 2 top 10s.
And the reason he did that was like he gambled with pit strategy there towards the end of the late caution. Like I think he took 4 tires when some people took 2 tires. So, he thought he could use that to close the gap to get back up. He was up in the top 5 most of the race before that, but didn't have enough to get to the lead. So they thought that was their strategy to maybe get him over the top, and it just didn't work out for him.
Right. Okay. I think probably he's good for GPP, but nothing more than that. Next up, we have Riley Hearst, 98, the 98.
YOLO
Stewart Haas
GPP.
Racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7,800. I mean, this is a guy fighting for the playoffs. I think he's going to be digging hard. 7,800 hundreds, not
But he
bad
could
for
be playing the
price
stage
tags.
point game, and that doesn't always win a race, you know.
Exactly. He's going to be trying to be, guys that are trying to win the race are probably pitting before stage ends with this, coming down to the wire. And guys like Riley Hearst will probably be in good track position. So I don't mind it. Noah Gregson is the guy I'm looking at in this top 10. I know I'm not really a big Noah Gregson fan, and I'm definitely not feeling good about Noah Gregson with there being, a high line and a wall. There's, a notorious wall. We have Gregson who loves to race aggressive in a high line, 9,900, but he's got 86 lead laps in the last 5 races here, or 4 races here, 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s. So he's 4 for 4, an average finish of 6th. So I like Gregson here at 99, and I think he's priced out to where people aren't going to play him. So I think that's going to be my low owned GPP dominator.
Yeah, he's always my first guy in GPP. So
I think this is going to be a good note. I don't know why I have a gut feeling on Noah Gregson, but I do. So I'm going to ride that Noah Gregson gut feeling to 20K tomorrow or is it 10K up top or 20K up top? 10K. We're winning 10K with Noah Gregson tomorrow.
Yeah, we're in the baby league here, man. You don't have huge prize pools. So
you know what? I'll take 10K any day of the week. All right, so Noah Gregson's going to bring that home for us. Now we need to fill out the rest of our roster. Myatt Snyder, 8K. I think he's the same play as Riley Hearst.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we can move on from that. Next up, we have Sam Mayer at 86.
Brett Moffitt.
Brett Moffitt. Sorry. Brett Moffitt, 8,600 in the O2 R Motorsports. Now, this is a guy you've been tailing. Go ahead and talk to us about Moffitt and what your thoughts are.
It is a little too high up here. I'd rather him be starting in the top 15, not the top 10, especially with all these cup guys in here. I just don't really see him finishing in the top 10. I think he could finish in the top 15. He's not going to lead any laps. If he does, it's going to be a fluky thing. It's only been for a couple as they cycle through pit stops or something. Definitely going to catch him. He's got all his eggs in this basket. They pulled out of everything else just to run here. So he's really got a gun for the win. So, that's a little equity there. But yeah. I think they're still going to try to stay conservative and pick and choose where their shots are. And there's 2 other races which might benefit him more. I just don't feel it here. We keep on saying there's days where he started in the top 15. They're no way in hell that he finishes in the top 15, and he has been able to do that. But when you throw in these 3 cup drivers in here and some of the other dynamics with the playoffs coming up, I don't see it.
He did finish 8th in the race in May. I think he could finish top 12. I think that'd be fair because he is going to gun for it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's a toss up for me. I'm undecided. Sam Mayer is going to be racing in the 8 at 80 for 8,800. Now the car finished 2nd, but it was raced by probably a far superior driver at his present time, that being Josh Berry. So Sam Mayer getting a lot of looks in this 8 car for not racing in it next year for some reason. I'm not sure what the thinking is for Junior Motorsports.
They're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It's no. It's just
so why I don't get why announce Josh Berry as the race car driver of the 8 and then have Mayer riding in the 8 for the last 4 races.
Because they already committed to it and signed on with the sponsors and everything. whether it was like a prearranged thing. So they didn't think that Barry was going to be this good. They wanted to bring the two guys up.
I think that's what happened. Yeah. So Mayer, I'm out.
They painted themselves into a corner, basically.
Yeah. I see inexperience and I see Darlington stripe and I say no thanks.
Yep.
So I'm out. I'd rather play Moffitt, Snyder, or Hearst. Next up, we have Ryan Sieg, 7,500. Now, I disagree with this take. I think I see on your chart here as a fade. I'm going to go with a play here.
Okay.
Yeah. So Sieg finished 9th in May. And in the last 5 races, he has 3 top 10s and 1 top 5 with 9 laps led. I like Sieg. Average finish 10th.
I don't.
Finish where you start in 7,500. I think I'd rather play him than Hearst. I maybe even want to play.
I'd rather play Brandon Brown for 100 more starting at 23rd.
Well, okay, GPP play Sieg, but he's not a cash play. But I think he's playable here at 7,500 in this spot. This is a track he likes. This is Sieg trying to go for it all win moment.
Yeah,
this
is
I'm winning 10K. Noah Gregson and Ryan Sieg.
So boom or bust. Like,
let's go.
And it's mostly usually bust. Like they have the weirdest pit strategies. Like, let's put the tires on backwards, or like.
Yeah. It's this perfect spot for.
Let's put kerosene in the car instead of snorkel fuel, or let's drive in reverse. Like they try everything to get an edge, and it never works.
I think he's going to be leading the race late in the race for a couple laps on like some old ass tires. And all I'm going to need is him not to wreck and finish like 10th. And perfect. Boom. There we go. Paid off. Ryan Sieg at 7,500.
God bless you. Good luck.
I'm taking shots. Sieg's going to be taking shots for me tomorrow. So I'm taking shots on Sieg. I gotta draw a line somewhere. They're trying to make this slate hard. Next up, we have Tommy Joe Martin's 5,100.
This will take him too at 5,100.
I'm out. No. I mean, he's
so cheap. Many people are going to play him just because of the price. I have his ownership probably 14-15%. I'm thinking.
Yeah, and I'm going to be on the 0 side of things for Tommy Joe. This is not a country. We are in the South, but this isn't the country music artist I'm playing tomorrow. Next up, we have probably where our conversation begins about place differential.
Yeah, just lock Hamlin
and Dominic. So Denny,
he's underpriced. If Kurt Busch was in this car, he'd be 15,000 or 14,000 or something like that.
Spoiler alert: Denny Hamlin's gonna win this race, no questions asked. Like this is Denny coming down to the Xfinity Series.
He's good at this track.
He hasn't won all year in the Cup Series. He's fantastic at this track. Hasn't won all year in the Cup. He's coming down to win, to feel good about winning again, and then he's going to win Sunday too. This is going to be a sweep from Denny Hamlin this weekend, starting with the Xfinity race.
So Kyle Larson's not going to race on Sunday?
See, it's going to be. We'll talk about that Saturday night.
Okay.
I mean, you're gonna have Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin in your big major GPP lineups, but Denny Hamlin's gonna be the winner.
Why would I play this with a GPP?
Because you want the guys that have finished 1-2. That's what's gonna happen this Sunday. And Saturday, I'm making predictions this weekend. I'm drawing lines.
Is he gonna win the truck race too?
If we get to that, I mean. That being 4 hours ahead of the Cup race, we'll see what we have time for. But Denny Hamlin going to win the race tomorrow, in case you didn't know. Next up, we have Jeremy Clement, 7,300. He did finish pretty good in May, I believe, as I've looked through this, 6th. So I think Jeremy Clement's 5 races, he's only got that 1 top 10. I think that could be overplayed. I'm in on Sieg, so I'm out on Clements.
On the opposite, I would rather have Clements and Sieg.
Here we go. Oh, we got to get a head-to-head going then, don't we?
I guess so.
I'm going to have Gregson and Sieg.
You're
All right.
for 21 against me in head-to-heads.
This is the one. It's
for
this
2021. Okay.
Well, it's because I'm crazy with mine. All right. So next up we have Josh Williams, 5,300. People are saying fade. I might play. I'm trying to bring this guy's career back down. We know he's had too much success. We got to bring him back down.
I know, but he's one that's going to end up in that wall.
Yeah, he is.
This is not the track.
No, it's not.
And he's starting too high. Like, I'm fine playing Josh Williams if he starts outside the top 20. Absolutely, will probably lock him in anytime that happens. This is just too high.
Yeah, 16 too high.
But people will play him because of the price. You need guys around 5,800. Yeah, so
that would be the only reason, and that's why you're right. People will play him because of it. But I actually have more interest in the next guy. Yeah, Landon Castle, 6,200. Yeah, JD Motorsports back in the 4. Had a good race last time out. Landon Castle, yes.
He's still starting too high. I haven't marked as a GPP, but yeah. And again, these are like some of the people you're gonna have to figure out who here, are the ones that you want to fill in if you're planning to play those 310K guys. And I think he's okay, but he does have a chance to finish 30th also, and that's going to lose you about 13 DK points for that. Finish of 30th gets you 12 DK points. So so you'd break even. And I think like some of these drivers we got to look at, like in loan payment, like where they talk about the amortization point. That's when you're paying back your loan and you stop paying like the interest on it. You're actually paying the principal. I think sometimes when we look at these drivers, that's what you have to look at. You have to look at how many DK points do you get for a finishing position versus how many points they're going to lose. So he's like right at that point. So if he does finish like 29th or 30th and he starts 13th, or where is he starting?
17th, I believe.
17th. Okay, so that's losing 13 points, but he's going to get 13 points. So he's going to break even. He's not going to lose you points. So I think
knowledge right there.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so if I'm like, if worse is he finishes 30th, then that washes. He's a 0 for that price. I'm okay.
Mega dropping the main knowledge here on the video. You guys are lucky. All right. Another thing on Landon Castle, finished 14th in May, or 12th in May. I don't know how much to take any of this because Tommy Joe Martin's finished 15th, so I'm really wondering what happened in this race, as I can't remember it. Moving on, we have David Starr.
Absolutely not.
61 being a starting position based off of the race Bubba just had, I believe, in Daytona. So
yes.
Fade, no play. Next up we have Mike. No. Yeah, next up we have Mike Lynette in the 1, 8,100. It's a little expensive, but we're starting 19. So guy in the bubble trying to get in on points.
Top 10 car, definitely.
I could play. I'll play him. I'll bite. I'd rather play him over Hearst and Snyder and probably Moffitt.
You get 40, 45 DK points here and be like 5X. So I'm very comfortable with Michael and that.
Yep. Yeah. Would you say cash if you could fit him?
Yeah.
Let's just hope he's healthy too. We've been saying that for weeks, and it seems like he's been okay. So if he holds up, if he starts the race, I think he's in play. Next up, Jade Buford, 4,600, and Jeffrey Earnhardt, 20th, 21st. A couple cheap guys. Any love?
No, I don't even see him freaking 3X. Like 15 DK points would be a stretch for either one of them. Now, again, if we're looking at like the falling net thing, they'd have to finish probably, if they lost it, like if Buford finished 35th and lost 15 DK points, he's still going to get you like 9 points.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the risk isn't that bad here. I don't think you're going to get negative points, but there's not much upside besides being able to get the 10K drivers in.
Yep. That is absolutely correct. Next up, we have Alex Lebaye, 6,300 cash.
I like this
Lock.
guy. Yes.
Yeah. I am in 22nd. The Bay in 5 races has a average finish of 15.8 and a top 10. And I believe in May, he finished 10th. So I'm in on Alex Lebaye.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's got the ceiling of maybe 30 DK points there. So and I really like the next guy.
Next up, we have Brandon Brown, 7,600. This will probably be the head-to-head between Mega and I, Brown and Sieg.
Yeah.
So who will do better?
100% or billion%. I'd sign me up.
Hey, I am going to play Brandon Brown. That's for sure. I just want to make a note. 24th finish in May, and doesn't really have any good results here. So just pointing that out.
Tomorrow.
Till tomorrow. Okay, Brandon Brown train rolls on for Mega. Next up, we have probably another lock for me in cash.
Well, here's the problem, though. It's the price.
It's play devil's advocate for us on Austin Cendrick starting 24th at 11.3.
This is a hard one. He's the most expensive guy in the slate. And it's probably because when the pricing came out, they didn't know that these other cup drivers were going to be in here because he was going to be the stone cold lock because he was probably going to be able to get us all the way up there and lead and win this race. Now, if with Hamlin up there potentially leading, I think I have him marked as a prime play right now, but I think I'm going to scrap that. I may even have to drop him to a GPP, which is shocking because I think he's going to have like super high ownership here. But here's my concern. If with the 3 cup drivers here, the chances of him getting up there and leading a lap, he likes to run up high. I've seen him hit the wall here quite a few times and get that Darlington stripe, and he wrecked last time he was here. So I don't know. 11.3 for Austin Cendrick, and in a situation with cup drivers and a track where I've seen him struggle. I was so excited when I first put this together, but now talking it over, I think I talked myself off of him, except for maybe in a GPP.
I think it would be a masterful fade if you did an MME style, 40 lineups in like the $1 or something, and you didn't play any, Austin Cendrick, and you just hammered home just a bunch of different variations of Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Austin Dillon, Denny Hamlin, Noah Gregson. You just kind of flirted with those rotations. Those are all guys that are right around the cut line of 10K, like from 9.9 to 10.4. Or I guess Dillon reaches to like 10.8.
Over. I couldn't put Gregson in there.
No, you know what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Just this pocket of like, hey, I can fit 2 or 3 of these guys, and I'll have more chances of getting more lead laps, more fastest laps, better place differential, better finishing position than I would be if I took Austin Cendrick and then have to play someone like Jesse Little or Kyle Weatherman down here just to fit Austin Cendrick. I think the cost analysis, you would say, is higher with taking more shots at just slightly cheaper stud plays. But if you wanted to build 5 lineups with Cendrick in case, hey, he gets up early, there's an early wreck, and then he gets good track positions and he dominates the race. But hey, 24th position, he finishes top 5. Sure, he'll be good. He'll have a lot of good points, but is he going to be in an optimal that way without leading any laps because Denny Hamlin led 140? You know what I mean? So
I completely agree. And if you take like the cup guys, Dillon, Hamlin, and Reddick, you only have 6,200 left. I'm thinking about, but I like it here. If you take if you start with like Dillon and Hamlin, that leaves you 7,200, and that opens up the Brandon Browns, your C, Lebaye, who we said is a good one there, a net.
Yeah.
I think, you can probably get those mid-range guys in that nobody's going to play that could have amazing days
or top 5, top 7, top 8 days. And that's what we want in our finishing position for GPP upside.
So
And
so
I
if
just think
we threw those, you're almost like around 7K left if you throw in like whatever one on our side there, Segan Brown, like Lebaye and Annette with like a Dillon or Hamlin. If you drop down and took Reddick, which I don't think, we'll get to him in a second, that gives you like almost 7,500 left. So there's definitely some potential here, and those are some real solid floor mid-range guys that you're building up here.
Yeah, I think we both talked ourselves into either low exposure to Cendrick or none at all. And I think that's going to be a fun play and a fun slate, because if he doesn't do anything, if he has like a crappy day, and it can happen, and he doesn't finish higher than 15th, we're going to be so far ahead of the field with all of our different variation lineups. So I'm excited. So, hey, now we're team fade or team low exposure on Cendrick, and that gives me purpose in a slate. So I'm excited. Next up, we have Brandon Jones, 10-6. And if I'm taking low ownership on Cendrick, I think I could have a little bit more shares to throw on Brandon Jones, who actually does fit this race style. We played him the week before, last week in what was the worst spot potential. And that was, Daytona. We played him at Michigan, which we thought was a perfect race. He raced really well. He finished, I believe, second. And then we told you not to play him at Daytona. He finishes, 40th. Man, did you call that on the last? Did you call that?
I said he'd be the first one out.
So, all right, we got to keep this team going. I'm in on Brandon Jones. Where is he? Starting way back here in 25th. I think he's got a good shot to do really well in this race.
I think he's going to be like the third highest driver on the slate. I think
that's okay.
With the 10K guys, I think people aren't going to trust Reddick as much. I think it's going to be everybody's going to start with Dillon, Jones, and Hamlin. So I think Cendrick's ownership is going to be lower anyways, but I like him, but in a GPP, I wouldn't play him in my cash lineup. And I don't think I'd necessarily mix a move with the other 10K guys if I'm eating. If I did, it'd be a low percent, like 5 or 10. Okay.
Jones finished third in May. He has 5 races at Darlington in the Xfinity series. And 3 of those are in the top 10, 2 are in the top 5, and he has 1 here. So
okay,
we're playing Brandon Jones tomorrow. Next up, we have Mason Massey, 4,500. The green light machine. This is usually JJ Yaley's car. This isn't a terrible car, and Massey's not
17.
that bad of a driver. If I'm playing anyone under 6K, I think it's Massey.
Yeah, I definitely like him in the one lineup.
26?
Was that
not bad? 26.
Yeah, the one lineup I built where I was trying to get all like 3 studs in. He was definitely one of the guys that I liked as like one of the scrubs to fill in with the stars.
Yeah, I think he's going to be decently exposed, owned in my mixed lineups. I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but yeah, he's going to be involved in most of my lineups tomorrow. With that price tag, I think that really opens up the slate. Hopefully nobody else follows suit. Next up, we have Ryan Vargas, your boy.
Well, actually, you know what? Here in the context of this slate, I wish he was starting below 30th, but I can tolerate him here. I think he could potentially get 4X, which is really where I set my bar for. He's finished in the top 25 here last couple of times. So
27th in May.
Yeah. So like, that's exactly where he's starting here at 4,900. So I'm not going to say he's cash, but I'm not throwing the fade on him. I think he's a solid GPP play, borderline cash.
Also note the 17 car that JJLE drove in May finished 22nd. So a little bit more reason to get in on this Mason Massey play tomorrow at 4,500. Next up, we have Tyler Reddick. 10-2. Now, I actually like Reddick more than Austin Dillon, but that's just because I think this is a good racetrack for someone like Tyler Reddick, who loves the upper groove, loves hugging the wall. He plays so thin between the wall. He's guaranteed to touch the wall at some point tomorrow. Like if there was a betting
cut
line
down
on
a tire, but he'll be fine. Don't worry,
because he's used to doing this. Like this is what he does. He rides paper thin close to the walls. He's hit them numerous times in his life, so I know he can bounce back even on a track like this. So I really like Reddick. I think 28th. You're getting still that good place differential. Top 7 is definitely in the cards with the 23 car in our motorsports.
He ran this car at Homestead, I think.
All right. If he ran this at Homestead, let's see what he did at Homestead. Another mile and a half
he
track.
Was pretty good with it too. Homestead, I mean, they're not but they're not known for having like a super high groove there. But I think there are multiple grooves at that track. I think you can run high.
Yeah, he finished 40th in that race.
40th?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's check Las Vegas. Maybe he redeemed himself the very next week, or they told him to get the hell out of their car.
40th?
He didn't finish 40th. He must have hit the wall or something early. Hey, I didn't realize. I thought Allgaier only won in Atlanta this year. So, well, I mean, that kind of puts a little bit of a. Did he race in this race in May? I don't think so. I don't think I've seen his name.
No,
it was Tanner Berryhill. Finished 21st. If Tanner Berryhill can finish 21st in that car at Darlington in May, Tyler Reddick's finishing in top 10.
Okay.
And that's all I need.
I'll have some shares, but I like Dillon and Hamlin better.
Okay. Next up we have Timmy Hill in the 5,200. And that 29th starting position. I'll bite. I'll play a little bit.
The only concern is I don't know if he has a sponsor. So
I doubt it.
He's a notorious starting Parker, but I mean he hasn't raced in probably about a month, so I can't really.
That is true.
See him.
You're gonna show up and park after you haven't raced in a while.
Stranger things have happened.
Fair.
So, but the price is okay. He's a GPP. He's a decent driver. He's a better driver than the equipment that they're going to give him. So if the car can make it, he's worthwhile. I like Massey and Vargas better. Maybe even Joe Graff that we're going to get to a couple of guys. Jesse Little.
23rd in May. So he showed up and raced.
Was it the 66?
It was the 66.
Okay.
Because David Starr was still in the 61.
Who?
David Starr finished 17th in May. So what happened in this race? There had to have been a huge wreck. I'm going to rewatch that race later today or tonight. Next up, we have Colby Howard. 7,100 is an atrocious price tag for Colby Howard. I am out.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't get that one. I'm fade.
For a guy that's not going to finish higher than 25th for 7,100 is stupid. Next up, we have Colin Garrett, Sam Hunt Racing in the 26th, starting 31st. 6,500 is too high for me. I'm out.
Yep. The car is not going to make it the full race.
Joe Groff Jr. racing in the Green Light Racing Machine, the teammate to our soon-to-be favorite driver tomorrow, Mason Massey. 5K.
Yeah.
Join up to go a little team SS Green Light Racing stack tomorrow. Mason Massey and Joe Groff Jr.
What could go wrong, kids?
And then all the studs, just Green Light Racing and all the studs. Yep. 4 10K drivers, and then this guy at 5K and 4,500, and then oh man, watch them wreck each other. That'll be even better.
Oh, like in Daytona where like all the rich wear guys.
Yes.
After I said don't play them.
I thought of you. I'm like, okay, all the Rick Ware cars are in one bunch. What possibly go wrong? They wreck. That everybody gets back into the restart, and then boom, the big one. I'm like, motherfucking Rick Ware Racing did this. They did this. They caused this. They couldn't pit together. They couldn't pit. You had 6 of them in a row because, you know, he's got 6 cars. All they had to do was go down pit road, and then one of them
They got Rick rolled.
Just one of them just starts shaking in the middle of like the line, a script, like whatever they had going. They wreck each other first, and then cause on the next restart just havoc. You know, was what transpired next. Matt Mills and Jesse Little here. BJ McLeod Motorsports 4,700, 33rd and 34th. I think out on Mills. I think that's a starting park candidate, and in on Jesse Little.
Yes, I agree. Not cash for Jesse Little, but he's starting where we want him to.
Yeah,
usually he's like $900 cheaper. He's usually like 4 or 5, but
racing in the 78. That's one of the better BJ McLeod cars. Probably going to be low owned. I get it. Next up, we have Austin Dillon 10-8 Prime Chalk here, number 31 in the Jordan Racing Machine. It's
had some speed. It's had a few mechanical issues, but it's been pretty sound. So I don't understand why Dillon's doing this though. Like, did he make it or not?
No, he's out of the playoffs.
Yeah. So
yeah. He had to basically win the race.
Did you watch the pregame of this, or the pre-race, or maybe it was during like a rain delay or something? He put his kid in the car, and the kid lost his like pacifier, and it took like them like probably 25 minutes to find the thing. They're like, the guys like, because you can't like open the door, like look under the seat, so you got guys like doing like all these contortionist like you know activities to try to figure out where the pacifier went in the car.
So his head's down in the seat and his feet are in the air sticking out of the window.
Yep.
Yeah, they do that from time to time just to do like give the driver water or something silly, or to change a clutch or something. He's looking for a pacifier. That's great. Yeah, I think I keep getting burned because I just don't believe in the Jordan Racing team. And I'm with you. I don't understand why Austin Dillon is doing this. He doesn't really have much to race for. So maybe in that way, he's racing to still win a race and prove that he can still race after missing the playoffs in a year.
It's not like
he shouldn't have missed the playoffs.
It's not like a unique track or anything where he needs like practice or anything. It's not like a road course where you want to try to see it for a little bit before you have to do it in Cup. It's just...
Yeah, I could understand why he would do an Xfinity road course, trying to be better on road courses that he sucks at. I mean, he's not terrible at Darlington, but he's not someone I suspected to be racing tomorrow. Yeah, I think he's going to be chalk 35, starting 35th. Not going to have exposure, but I think in high dollar lineups, I might try to roll the dice and fade him in case he has trouble early. So that's where I'll be. Next up is a guy that will probably be touted pretty heavily across the industry. I don't think it's going to change much with our tune here. Ryan Ellis, usually a pretty good driver, no matter whenever he steps in, just a guy that, you know, has some good racing background. BJ McLeod, not a terrible team. 5,800 is great price tag.
This is the car like Hamrick drove, and this is the car like other Cup drivers have driven. We think it might be a Stuart Haas car that's just painted BJ McLeod. Like we've had that theory because it's performed much better than a BJ McLeod car. So that coupled with the driver, coupled with the starting position, coupled with the price, it's a perfect marriage. Just lock this guy in your cash game. So, you know, he's probably, once you figure out which 210K guys you want, he's probably the third one in.
Yeah. Since February of 2018, he's raced Darlington once in the Xfinity Series, finishing that race 16th. So Ellis is a good play. I actually think he raced in May. Let me double check that. Yeah, he finished 16th in May. So there's he's already had a look at this track. They're bringing him back for it. Obviously, they know he is going to just keep 4 wheels on this car. He's going to race it hard. He's going to be clean off the wall. Yeah, I'm with you. Lock this play in. That's probably the cash play, the high exposure to Ryan Ellis tomorrow. The next couple of guys I might be out on. Weatherman 37th, 6K. I would understand it over some guys that we've already talked about. Hey, if you're not feeling the Massey pick and you got the salary for Weatherman, go for it. I just don't think I'm going to have enough salary to fit someone like Weatherman. But if I land on him, okay.
He and the guy with him, Carson Ware here, the Mike Harmon cars. I don't understand
Harmon.
Why they're priced up. They're decent drivers. Weatherman has had some mechanical issues this year.
Yeah, he hasn't been racing well. But
I don't know. They're a little bit higher than a low guy that you'd want. They're a little bit better quality, but I don't know if they fit my bill. But we'd say we'd probably want to take Castle or Lebaye here. Definitely Lebaye over, I'd find a 300 for that, or 200 down for Ellis. So they're kind of no man's land here for value pricing.
Any love for the top 10 machine, BJ McLeod?
Honestly, this is a really good car.
6,700 for the 90.
Yeah.
He's got 5 cars on the track. He's not racing in any of them.
Yeah. What does that tell you about
finished 26th in this race in the same car in the 90. So there's some place differential there. 6,700, you got to pay for it. But if I land on him,
he's had some top 20s at Darlington. He hasn't been bad at this track. And you look at his current form, top 10 in Cup, he's on his way, man. So, but no, in all honesty, I think he's a GPP player. I think you're probably looking at 3.5x. I don't think you can get quite up to 4x. I'd rather he'd be 5,700. I think he's 1,000 too much.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's the place differential there, and I think that's why he's priced where he is, and a chance to move up. So if I have around 6,700 left, I'd consider him. I'm going to take him over Colin Garrett. I'm going to take him
over Colby Howard.
Yeah.
Yep. Over Colby Howard. I think I'd rather play Lebaye. But I would understand it if you had the salary to play BJ McLeod, and if he can finish.
Chances are I already have Lebaye in my lineup at this point.
Yeah, Ellis and Lebaye probably already in the lineup. All right, Greg Galding to finish it out. 6,900. Nah.
Yeah. If he even gets 2x, I would be impressed. If he gets 12 DK points, I'd be very impressed. He's been so slow this year.
You froze.
Actually, you froze drinking a beer.
Really?
You look like you're just chugging the
thing. Sorry for the freezing or any technical difficulties that you may have heard through the making of this video. Mega, I assume that you were fading Greg Galding there, just to clarify.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In case anyone misheard either you or just was staring at me chugging a beer at the end of this video. Guys, it's been great. For the last hour here, we are probably wrapping it up. Any last thoughts, Mega?
No, it's exciting race to look at, and it's pretty exciting having 3 races this weekend. So Labor Day weekend, hopefully everybody goes out and celebrates responsibly. And for those of you all over America that were impacted by the weather, hope that it wasn't too bad for you, and that if it was, help is on the way, and that we get back to normal soon.
Absolutely great message, Mega, and thank you for that. Like you said, our prayers go out to them, and hopeful that they get the help that they need. And great message, especially if you're living in New Orleans, New Jersey, New York, any of those states affected. So good stuff. But yeah, like this video, comment below with any of the feedback that you may have. If you guys want any of the projections, core lineups, you can find that link on our Twitter handle at FSI_DFS. That link is in the bio. You can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. You can follow Mega at MegaRuler31. Guys, thank you for listening. Stay tuned tomorrow for Cup, possibly trucks. We'll see what we have time for tomorrow night for your Sunday race, night race, right? For the Cup.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Awesome. Darlington at
Darlington
nights with the throwbacks. So gonna be a fun race for Sunday
night. Is it the
night.
Mountain Dew Southern 500?
Stop it. You didn't tell me that. Man.
Isn't that what it used to be?
I thought it was always the Southern 500.
Wasn't it sponsored by Mountain Dew at one point?
I thought you said Mountain Goose.
No. Mountain Dew.
The Cookout Southern 500. All right, so I mean, I'd rather have the Mountain Goose 500.
Grey Goose will get you loose.
Yeah, we'll make the call.
Anyways.
All right, yeah, we're out of here. We're done. All right, thank you for listening. Good luck tomorrow.